Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into a topic that's close to many of our hearts, VA loans.
Yeah, it's something we get asked about a lot.
Definitely. We're going to unpack everything, the benefits, the ins and outs, even some potential drawbacks, and we'll equip you to impress everyone at your next gathering with all your VA loan knowledge.
Sounds good to me. And to guide us through this, we're using the VA Loan 2024 Ultimate Military Mortgage Benefits Guide.
That's right, our trusty 2024 guide.
Yeah.
So everything we talk about is current and up to date. Consider this your crash course on VA loans. All right, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a VA loan?
So, in a nutshell, it's a loan program designed for veterans, active duty personnel, and certain surviving spouses.
Okay, so far so good. But what makes it different from a regular loan?
The big difference is that it's backed by the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Okay, backed by the VA. What does that actually mean for the borrower?
It means the VA guarantees a portion of the loan to the lender.
So it's like a safety net for the lender.
Exactly. And that guarantee translates into some big advantages for the borrower. Things like,
Lower interest rates?
absolutely, lower interest rates are a big one, and often no down payment required.
Wow, no down payment. That's huge. But hold on a second. Before we get too excited, let's talk about who can actually qualify for these loans.
You're right. Eligibility is key. Generally, we're talking active duty, military, veterans, National Guard, reserve members.
And some surviving spouses, right? I saw that in the guide.
Yes, that's right. But there are specific service requirements for each group.
So it's not a given just because you served, right? There's some fine print.
Absolutely. Each group has to meet certain requirements, and the VA relies on documentation to confirm.
And this is where things get a little paperwork heavy, am I right? I see all these different forms mentioned. DD-214 and GB Form 22.
Those forms are crucial for verifying your service history and your discharge status. They're how the VA confirms eligibility.
So if you're thinking about applying for a VA loan, dust off those discharge papers.
Exactly. They're really important. Now, let's dive into what makes these loans so beneficial.
All right, so we've touched on it a bit, but let's dive into the good stuff. What are the major perks of a VA loan?
Well, we've got to start with that no down payment benefit. That's huge for a lot of people.
Right, I mean, coming up with a down payment, that's usually the biggest hurdle,
It is, and with a VA loan, you can potentially clear that hurdle completely.
especially for younger folks just starting out or anyone with a lot of financial responsibilities.
Mm.
That's got to be a game changer. What else makes these loans stand out?
The interest rates, they can be significantly lower compared to a conventional mortgage.
Okay, so we're talking some real savings here, but how much are we talking? Can you give us for instance?
Let's say you're buying a $300,000 house. Even a 0.25% difference in interest over 30 years.
That adds up.
Big time. We're talking thousands of dollars in savings over the life of the loan.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's money back in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? There was something else in the guide.
No PMI.
Ah, right. PMI, help me out here.
So PMI, or private mortgage insurance, is something you usually have to pay with conventional loan if you have a smaller down payment.
It's basically insurance for the lender in case you default, right?
Exactly. And it's an extra monthly fee.
So with a VA loan, no PMI.
Exactly. Again, that's more money you get to keep each month.
Okay, so far so good. We've got no down payment, potentially thousands saved with lower interest rates, no PMI.
This is sounding pretty dreamy. But there's always a catch, right? What are some drawbacks to a VA loan?
Well, you're right. There are always two sides to every coin. One thing to keep in mind is the VA funding fee.
Now, I've heard that term thrown around before. What is that exactly? Break it down for me.
It's a one-time fee that helps cover the costs of the VA loan program.
So, kind of like an entrance fee for all these awesome benefits.
You could say that,
Uh-huh.
and the amount can vary. It depends on things like your down payment, your service history, what type of loan you're getting. So it's not one size fits all. Good to know.
Well,
Anything else potential borrowers should be aware of?
property restrictions.
Yeah.
VA loans are intended for primary residences, not investment properties.
Ah, so you can't buy that rental property you've had your eye on.
Not with a VA loan. The main goal is to help veterans and their families purchase a place to live in.
Right, so no vacation homes or anything like that.
Generally not. The VA wants to make sure these loans are used for their intended purpose.
Makes sense. So primary residence only. Got it. What about the condition of the property? Any rules there? Okay, so let's say I'm sold. A VA loan sounds like the right move for me. What are the next steps? How do I actually make this happen?
Well, it's all about navigating that application process.
And I'm guessing this is where our handy 2024 guide comes in.
You know it. It breaks down the whole process into some clear, easy to follow steps.
Music to my ears. So where do we start?
First things first, you're going to need your certificate of eligibility.
Ah, yes, the COE. I remember seeing that.
Right, that's your golden ticket.
And this is where those forms we talked about earlier come in, right? The DD-214, all that.
Exactly. That documentation is key for getting your COE.
Okay, so you've got your COE. What's next?
Time to find yourself a lender.
And this is where it pays to do your research, yeah.
100%. Not all lenders are created equal. You really want to find one that understands VA loans inside and out.
Someone who's been there, done that.
Exactly. They can walk you through the process, answer all your questions.
Make it a whole lot smoother.
Exactly. Okay. So you've got your lender. What's next? Well, they're going to need some paperwork from you. Proof of income, credit history, that kind of thing.
The usual suspects.
Pretty much. And then, of course, they'll need to see your COE as well. So once you've gathered all that, you're good to go.
Submit that application.
That's right. And from there, the lender will take it from there, review your application, verify your info, make sure everything's in order, and assuming everything checks out.
You're on your way to closing.
Exactly. It's really an amazing program, and these benefits, they can make a world of difference for veterans and their families.
Couldn't agree more. So as we wrap things up here, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
If you're eligible for a VA loan, don't hesitate to use it. It's a fantastic opportunity. Just do your research, understand what you're getting into, and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe with all the money you save on that lower interest rate,
You can finally buy that unicorn we were talking about.
now you're speaking my language. But seriously, folks, knowledge is power. And we hope this deep dive has armed you with the information you need to make the best decisions for your future.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy house hunting, everyone.